Who's going to win the Southeastern Conference Eastern Division? I think we all are going to agree on who's going to win it. But let's go through this real quick. Matt, Ryan, we'll just do 1, 2, 3 real quick. Who's going to win the SEC East? 1, 2, 3. Georgia.
Georgia.
Okay. We got a little bit of delay, which is fine. Matt, who's going to be the 2 seed, for lack of a better term? You tell me.
Well, listen, fellas, I did a little research before going into this. Now, and I looked at all the teams and their schedule. I think it's going to be a 3-way tie for second place. I've got Tennessee going 5-3 in the conference. I also have Kentucky and South Carolina all going 5-3 in SEC play. Now, let's start with Tennessee real quick. I think they're going to get off to a hot streak, right? 6-0, playing great until they lose to Alabama. Then they go up to Lexington, Kentucky. And I think they drop that game too.
Don't do it. Okay.
Tennessee's going to lose to Kentucky up in Lexington the week after they lose to Alabama, and then I see them losing to Georgia. I like Kentucky. The more I dig into the Cats, I like the Cats. They hit the transfer portal hard. I like the quarterback. They added a running back. They added 2 tackles, a big-time safety. I like the Cats a little bit, and I think they take down Tennessee. South Carolina loses to Georgia, Tennessee, and A&M. I think they beat Kentucky at the end of the year. So 3 teams go 5-3 in my eyes, Ryan.
Yeah, I think Tennessee is going to be number 2. Maybe that's the chalky answer, but I do think they're going to win that head-to-head against South Carolina. And I think that's going to be in Knoxville, in Neyland Stadium. So I think Tennessee will probably win that game and edge out South Carolina for number 2. I don't have as much faith in Kentucky as you, Matt. I've done my Devin Leary research, and I don't know that he's going to be much better than Will Levis. So that's kind of my take on Kentucky. But again, a division where Georgia shouldn't be challenged too much.
Yeah, I do. It does seem to me that it's going to come down to who will really challenge the Dogs. Is that going to be Tennessee or Carolina? Georgia got to go to Tennessee. I think they win both games, but I think that's a much more challenging thing when you look at Tennessee's schedule. They got to play Alabama. They got to play Alabama. They got to play the Dogs. They got to play, obviously, Florida. That's when we're going to really know if UT is any good. And then their crossover is Texas A&M. So I think just by schedule alone, it could be challenging because Carolina's crossover is Mississippi State, which is not the same as Alabama. They both play A&M. They don't both play Alabama, and that could be the reason why South Carolina finishes in front of them. I will add, however, that I don't trust South Carolina. I don't know that I trust anyone on this thing outside of Georgia and probably Tennessee. Don't y'all think Tennessee's, shouldn't people be done at kind of making fun of that whole thing, Matt, or not?
Yeah, they're a good team. I think they're a good team. I don't think they're as good as Alabama, especially on the road in Tuscaloosa. That's going to be tough. Georgia, I think, is probably the best team in the country. They get Georgia at home. I still think they're going to lose that game, but I think Tennessee still might Tennessee and lose one game, and I'm going to say that's Kentucky, but they do have another good team. Are they as good as last year? I don't think so, but I think they're going to be a good team again.
What do you think? What do you think about Tennessee, Ryan? You tell me.
Yeah, I feel a similar way. I think that they're going to be a really good team again. I just don't think they're going to be a team that sniffs being ranked number 1 in the college football playoff this season. I don't think that they have a ceiling like that where they can reach that even in just November. But I still think that they're going to be a good team. I don't think that their players are bad, but when you lose players like that and you don't have a proven track record of replenishing talent like that, just simply because this is your 3rd year running that program, I doubt they're going to have the production on offense that they had last season. When you lose out on a player like Hyatt and Hooker who ran your system that well, I do think there's going to be a dip.
Yeah, I don't know globally who's in best position. The crazy thing is none of us are talking about Florida. Hey, make sure you're picking up Double Dogs today. When you do, you're going to get our 2023 preview. There's all sorts of stuff from all of us in these, by the way. We can't do it without everybody who's on the is this a call? Whatever this is. We can't do that without y'all. So please make sure you take it. The link is down below. We're not all going to be in media days. Actually, Ryan and I will. Matt will be monitoring results online. But But what about the Gators? Where is Missouri? Let's start with Ryan and go to and Matt can formulate his opinion. Where is Florida in the grand scheme of this thing, Ryan? In the East, it's a tough schedule.
I mean, I think they're falling out of the grand scheme of things. Is the way I'd put it. It seems like they're just slowly slipping. I don't think they're as good as any of the three teams that we've been largely talking about on this. Bless you.
Bless you.
I'm glad that was on screen completely.
Well, I mean,
let's go times 3. I like it.
I just don't think that they're really. They're not super far away, but they're not where Tennessee and South Carolina and even Kentucky are at right now. I don't know if they're going to win any of those games, right? They're a team where you look at their schedule and the first thing you think is, wow, 5-7, 6-6, 7-5. When you look at like a Florida schedule, some weird stuff happening with their program this offseason that I think has maybe, as far as the national media attention has gotten brushed under the rug a little bit just because of other things going on.
Go ahead. I mean, what?
Well, you know what I'm talking about.
Well, actually, I forgot it. Do you want to text me about
it? And all that.
Oh, go ahead. What were you
know what I'm talking about. I'm trying not to use some of these terminologies on here, man.
The quarterback stuff?
Yeah, all that stuff.
Yeah, I mean, they don't have a quarterback right now. It doesn't look like to me. Am I wrong, Matt?
You're not wrong. I think they're going to go 3-5 in SEC play. I think they beat Arkansas at home. They beat Vanderbilt, and they beat Missouri, who poor Missouri. Look at that schedule. They've got LSU at home that they're going to lose. Kentucky on the road, they're going to lose that. They've got South Carolina at home. I think the Gamecocks are going to win that. At Georgia's a loss. Tennessee at home, that's a loss. I have Missouri going 1-7 in the SEC. The Gators 3-5. But I do think it's Georgia, a few above average teams, then Florida, Missouri, Vanderbilt.
I just saw what Ryan was talking about. I don't know how I miss out on some of these reports, but yeah, probably not going to discuss that in detail. I missed that, or I've forgotten about it. But anyway, Vanderbilt. So who is the most likely to topple? You like how I just skipped past Vanderbilt, Missouri? Who is the most likely to topple Georgia? Isn't it Tennessee? Am I wrong?
I think it should be Tennessee, but Ole Miss is still right there. Lane Kiffin, they can score. They got a great running back.
I mean in the East, Matt. I'm sorry. Yeah.
Yeah, Tennessee is still probably the biggest competition. You can never really count Kentucky in as a team that could win the East. They're always a good team, but they're never going to win the East. Maybe I'm wrong. And South Carolina's not there yet. Tennessee proved last year that they have the ability to be a top 10, right outside of the top 5 program when they're at their best. So Tennessee, I think, like Ryan said earlier, is probably going to get the most votes at number 2 at SEC Media Days.
Ryan?
Yeah, I don't know. I think South Carolina is also going to be a popular pick to be that second team. They were a team that, if you just kind of read the offseason headlines a year ago, people projected that they were going to take a step forward, and they did. And it makes sense that they've taken another step forward this year. I don't think it's crazy that South Carolina ends up being the second best team in the SEC East. I think they could definitely come out with a better SEC record than Tennessee, but that head-to-head, I do think Tennessee will beat them in that game and maybe win a tiebreaker.
So you think Carolina will beat Tennessee?
No, I think Tennessee's going to beat Carolina.
Oh, okay.
But I think South Carolina might be a better team. But I think that head-to-head is going to matter, and I think Tennessee's going to win that.
Yeah, I don't know who is the most likely to beat Georgia, but I think it's going to be a challenging thing for that to occur, just because they really are that much further, it seems like, ahead of everybody else. And I'll say this now. I'm going to plant this flag. I do think the Carolina game in Athens might be a little bit jumpier than folks want to say right now. But we're just going to see how that goes and what that means. I mean, Georgia losing that game, I don't think that will happen. But you know, we'll be at media days. Make sure you're checking it all in, or taking in all of the coverage over at Dawg Post. Georgia goes Tuesday But I'll be there Monday, Tuesday. Ryan will be there Wednesday, and we'll just take it from there. Thanks for watching. We'll see you on the website.